episode of Feel Free, the only podcast that'll tell you to chase your dreams and call you out on all your bullshit, myself included. Back with my buddy Sam. What up?
What up, dude?
Yeah, we're here in this hot-ass office to talk about wellness. Can't believe you're wearing a hat right now.
It's fucked up being bald, man. Sometimes you gotta sweat, you know?
Keep it sweaty.
Keep it sweaty all the time. Stay lean.
So I brought you on because it's been a while since we caught up. Wanted to hear about, obviously, anything wellness related, but also you had gotten a new job. And also when we talked, you wanted to talk a little bit about acquiring new skills, right? Mm-hmm. And then I also wanted to talk about like your fighting hobby / wellness thing.
Yeah, because quest to become an anime character.
Quest to become an anime character. All right, cool.
Pretty sick.
So when you messaged me about the acquiring the new skills, is this also going to lead into you talking about the new job that you got too?
No, honestly, I feel like the new skills thing is like more in regards to the fighting. And then also I've been like relearning Spanish and like dabbling in other languages to keep in chess too, to like keep the brain sharp.
Actually, this is way better than the job thing. So yeah, all right.
Fuck a job.
Yeah,
dude.
fuck the job.
No, you should work. It's important. Yeah.
Well, dope. I actually just started using Duolingo again to learn Japanese.
Yeah, Duolingo is great. I feel like it's like a great jumping off point. Mm-hmm. There's an idea in like language learning. I don't know if you're familiar. It's called like comprehensible input. Basically, like the premise of it is if you can understand like 50-60% of something, if you can get your vocabulary to that point, say with an app like Duolingo or like a book, and then I listen to podcasts in Spanish. I listen to a ton of music from Mexico, and it's like you just start learning like local phrases and you start developing an accent like from the area you want. The
cadence too.
That's important too because like, I mean, my Spanish is still crap. I'm like maybe 6 months into like trying to do baby steps on my own, and only recently like really delving into it and like setting a schedule and everything for learning, which is important.
Absolutely. And learning new skills, especially, I remember you had taken up the piano too. Mm-hmm. So learning music and language is also huge for neuroplasticity, which is, you know, just keeping the brain sharp and all that shit. I did use Duolingo for a bit, and then I fell off, but then I bought like an actual workbook. It's called Genki, which is the 3rd edition. Yeah. I think I gave you my 2nd edition.
I don't have it.
Yeah.
I don't know where it is. I'm sorry. It's gone.
It was the workbook that I had from Grand Valley or something.
Yeah, I remember that.
Right. Yeah, so I actually got the 3rd edition, which just comes with a whole bunch of resources and stuff. So trying to set a schedule for that is also tough. But I'm trying to just do like at least 15 minutes in the morning. Yeah. You know. And then also there's something called Pimsleur. Do you know what Pimsleur is? Yeah. So I actually used some of my Audible credits to get the lessons for Japanese for Pimsleur.
Yeah, I've been reading Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets in Spanish.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
It's tough, dude, because like, you know, you'll have to keep stopping and highlighting, but I think like full immersion is honestly the best way to do it. And everybody learns different. Like there's people like me who I feel like I learn well in traditional ways. Like I sit down and I study and I review and I make flashcards. Right. But I'm also now introducing more things like through Pimsleur and all sorts of stuff like that. There's also something called Lingo Pie, which I have a subscription to. It's a Google Chrome extension. And when you watch Netflix, it gives you the like subtitles in the language you want, and you can click on them and it freezes it, and then you can save those as flashcards and you review after each episode. Like you create your own curriculum basically just through watching shows. What? Which is pretty sick. Yeah, it's like $59.99 a year.
That's not bad.
No, not at all. And I can't, you know what I do with year subscriptions, because I always forget, is like I sign up and I just cancel. Right away, because I will forget, and then it'll be like January of next year, and I'll be like, what the?
Another $60. Yeah.
Dang, it's gone.
Yeah.
It's been fun.
They're actually doing that for Duolingo again. I was about to buy it, and then I told myself, I'm like, listen, let's get like 4 or 5 days under our belt before we go and purchase a year-long subscription
hit
for
that
something.
14-day streak.
Yeah, the little fire emoji and shit.
That owl pisses me off, though. It's like, hey, remember when you were trying to study?
Yeah.
You suck. It's like, it's been a week. Where are you? Yeah. It's great.
So you said you're reading The Chamber of Secrets?
Yeah.
In Spanish?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we just watched a lot of Harry Potter over break.
See, and I remember, because I've always been a big Harry Potter fan. I remember talking to you about Harry Potter, and you're like, whatever.
I just didn't get into it.
Now
you know?
you're engaged to a Harry Potter fan, so you are one.
I know. Yeah.
They're so good. You've read the books or no? Okay. We'll have a separate conversation outside.
She has them on audiobook.
Okay.
And she's sending me them, so I'm going to listen to them.
Who is it? Stephen Fry?
I think it's some British dude.
Stephen Fry.
Yeah.
He's pretty good.
Yeah, that's what...
I like it.
Yeah. That's
definitely worthwhile.
So that's next on my list, other than I started reading again. This is actually great. So we're talking about new skills. Language is huge, and learning music is great. I've also gotten back into my physical wellness goals.
Yep.
Like I'm just hitting mad push-ups.
Mad push-ups, huh?
Mad push-ups.
Plyometrics or what? Calisthenics?
Calisthenics. Yeah, calisthenics and plyos at least once a week, not skipping leg day. So that's good. And then I started reading again. So I'm looking forward to that. The last like few episodes I've had people come on and talk about either their sobriety or like new wellness goals and stuff. So, but you've been off for like 3 weeks now with like physical things, right?
I mean, I'm back this week.
Nice.
It was just so 3 weeks ago I was really sick with like everybody's been having like a mystery bug, like a flu or some shit the last week or whatever. So I was like, it wiped me out. Then I went to Florida for a week, and then I came back, and it was like Christmas craziness, and I had done like no shopping, and I had to just do all that. But yeah, now we're back, and
nice.
It's like you never left. I mean, super sore versus like, so normally when I lift, I'll do like an hour to an hour, 20 minutes of like hard lifting, and then I'll do like 20 minutes of cardio. I went and I did 40 minutes still with like a high intensity of lifting maybe 2 days ago. And like, my chest hurts so bad.
That's good though.
It's a good thing. Yeah. Knowing that you're tearing it down. But I think just as long as you always come back to it, you know, it's like that same concept of like, it's a marathon, not a sprint. It's like 26. I have the rest of my life to be like in shape. You know, as long as I continue on the trajectory, I'll keep, you know, being in shape. So
and just stay active. Yeah. I mean, I hit like a snag where I was like out of it for like a couple months though, you know, just playing video games and being a degenerate, you know. It happens. Yeah. And so it's been nice getting back into that routine again. Now, what type of fighting are you doing? So it's Muay Thai?
So I started training about a little over like a year ago, maybe a year and a half at this point. And when I started, it was kickboxing, specifically like in the Thai style. So Muay Thai includes knees and elbows. It's the art of the 8 limbs or something. So it's like both your hands, feet, knees, elbows. So I started doing that because I was such a big fan of like mixed martial arts and the UFC and fighting. And one day me and my cousin were just like, let's try it. Let's give it a try. And it was so tough. Like, I was in shape before. I lifted, did cardio. Like the first day I was puking in the bathroom, like of the dojo. It's like right off. Everybody's hearing it. And I'm like, wow. I had no idea that a 16-year-old could beat my ass like that. So, cause there's so many just like savages in that gym, but yeah, I mean, from a, not just a fitness perspective, but just like a straight up mental toughness
I'd
perspective.
say pride thing. So it's pretty humbling then, right?
Well, yeah. Cause you know what? You always think like as a fit guy, like, oh, I can handle myself in a situation should it arise.
Right.
Now, like, to be fair, the people that were humbling me were good fighters.
Yeah.
So it's not like another average Joe. Like when I was with my cousin, who's my training partner most of the time, he wasn't humbling me so much as like when we get into the sparring rounds with other people, you kind of get a sense of like the gap between you and like somebody who knows what they're doing, like with space and, and time management and like all that stuff. So it's definitely a humbling experience. It's like, but I think you need those. You need to like knock yourself down ego-wise a bit, because if you're somebody that, like, for example, if we're just staying on fighting, can't fight, and you don't know that, and you just think like, you know, you're fit, you're tough, you're gonna probably get checked or humbled pretty bad, like in the real world. So,
well, also I think it's nice to be okay with that humbling experience, because most people would go into something like that, get their ass whooped, and be like, well, fuck that. Yeah. Most people don't like being bad at things. to start out.
Or being hit in the face.
Or being hit in the face. Yeah, definitely not.
Still not my favorite thing, to be fair. But at least like all the blood vessels in my nose are like toughened up now, so I don't leak anymore. And
That's
like,
nice.
Yeah, it's good. It's nice. Ruined a lot of shirts. Yeah, it's messed up.
Yeah, I never. I don't know, the whole fighting thing. The only time I fought is with Joe, as you know, like growing up.
The titty twisters. They don't teach that move at my gym, but I use it. No, I still use it. Yeah. Oh,
all right, nice.
The purple nurples are great in jiu-jitsu too. So I started in Muay Thai, and my gym's an MMA gym, so it's like striking, like so Muay Thai style. We also do like Dutch style kickboxing, which is a little bit different. And then like the mixed martial arts, you do a lot of the groundwork. You do like jiu-jitsu, wrestling, like the grappling arts too.
Okay.
So basically the class is structured. You'll show up the first hour striking and like conditioning, for striking. And then the next 30 minutes to an hour, depending on how long you want to stay, you just roll around and grapple and wrestle and kind of learn submissions and stuff like that. So it's like a complete picture, I guess.
Nice.
Yeah.
I actually just had one of our buddies from UIC, one of Will's buddies too. His name was Marcos.
I know him, yeah.
Yeah. So he came on to talk about, he's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu coach.
Nice.
Yeah. He said I could come down for a free lesson, and I don't know, the whole wrestling thing.
The whole wrestling thing? I'll tell you this much. I have been, my worst injuries are not from fighting people like on the feet. My worst injuries are from grappling like heavyweight dudes, and they fall on you, and like I blew out my rib. Not the actual, like I think it's the intercostal muscle, like the one between the ribs,
the rib
that
cage
thin bit tore. So that was a bad one. That hurt for like 2 months.
Yeah, that's fucked.
It's fucked up.
You see, I already have like one really high impact activity in basketball. So I'm 30 now, and I know I'm old as fuck, man. I'm not like totally against like trying to get into a martial arts, but right now, like my love for basketball is just,
I think like if you have a passion that helps you be like physically active and has discipline in that regards, like I don't think it has to be fighting by any means.
Right.
Like I think people should maybe know how to defend themselves on like a general basis, but like you're also at a point where like you'll probably be pretty fine versus like the average American dude.
For sure. And I'm fast as fuck, boy. So if anything, like honestly, if it's fight or flight, like
bitch,
I'm out. Dude.
Gone.
Yeah. Joe's training for the Olympics, and I'm fast as fuck too. So I'll be gone.
Running is a solid method of self-defense. Like if they don't have a gun or a knife, gone.
Yeah.
I'm gone.
There was that one story about Josh.
Ferrara
on the train.
Ran.
Yeah.
Cardio is king, man. That's what they say. Even in fighting, it's like I'll have people, when we have like new people that come to the gym, sometimes you get like the big like musclehead dudes from like, your local like LA Fitness that want to come and like fight. And like by the time we're done with an hour of drills, which is kind of how the class is structured, like we do cardio warm up, and then we hit pads / each other for like drills. And then you do like 3 to 5 rounds of sparring after, which is like the sparring's when you're really gassing because like there's somebody in front of you trying to like beat your ass.
Right.
And like, dude, sometimes like some of these big dudes that you would look at on the street, by the time they get to me, I'm just like picking at them, because
but they're gassed though.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, but it doesn't take long to gas.
No.
Like they're gassed in the first round, like in the first 30 seconds. So realistically, like if you could just paddle around a big guy, I think you'll be all right.
Right. But these guys also don't do a lot of cardio at the gym.
You never know. I mean, even the ones that do, you're also just, anytime that you're like 200 plus pounds of just mass and you're swinging, it's a different kind of like tiring.
Right.
It's like if you're not used to that specific conditioning, just like in basketball, like if you're not used to like all the jumping and all the coming down in the right ways from those
you're
jumps,
gonna get hurt and tired for sure.
Exactly. It's the same thing with fighting, like any sport really.
So how long have you been fighting? When did you start doing this?
Like a year and a half ago.
Year and a half?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Damn, that's been a while.
It has been a while. I think it was like last July. I don't know.
Were you still going? Wait, did you start when you were at GQ?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've only been at my current job for, I don't know, like 7-8 months. Just got a promotion, so
nice.
Chilling. Yeah.
So aside from the fighting, learning a new language. I actually did want to talk about the job, even if it is a little boring.
No,
okay. Because originally, the whole Feel Free podcast about chasing your dreams, shit like that, being authentic, calling yourself out on your bullshit. And with school here in America, North America, the United States, we kind of like force people into this college system and just tell them like pick some majors that make an acceptable amount of money. Right. You had landed a really nice job right out of college, but it was too much.
Yeah.
It was way too much.
Too much for me at the time. Like I remember just, and like you said, you just kind of get charted on that course of college without really thinking, because you're in college and you're just enjoying being in college, and then you graduate and you enter the real world, and there are certain degrees where you more or less exactly what you're getting into. Like accounting, you kind of know what you're getting into, right? It's like a more open-ended business degree, like supply chain, so broad. There's so many different fields, so you really don't know unless you do your own due diligence and research, which again, I didn't.
Right.
You don't really know what the specific job entails. So I was more on like the purchasing side of things for a big company, and I hated it. And now I'm on a different end of supply chain, and I actually quite like what I do. But I think more importantly than like what I do specifically, I like the people that I work with and the company that I'm at. So like that just makes it so much better and it's hybrid too. So it's like I'm only in office 2 days a week.
Right.
Which is huge for me, because it's like I feel like I personally work better at home. Like when I'm by myself, I can keep myself honest most of the time, and just no distractions of the office and nobody like micromanaging. Like at my old job, it was constant check-ins for like no reason. And here it's my boss is like, hey, did you do your stuff? And I'm like, yep, that's it.
That's it. Yeah.
It's great.
I think that's interesting too, because it's the same. You're kind of using the degree, supply chain management, but because it's so broad, like you said, there's another end of the spectrum that you were on with the job, hybrid thing. So I think a lot of things went right for the job, which is why you like it so much. And I think that's great. You didn't really have to like learn anything new in order to get the job though, right? You were already ready for it.
Right. I mean, like we use a system called SAP, which is like a certain software, which I had to learn that. But that's not, for somebody that's tech savvy, and if you have like the right onboarding program, which was also the part of the problem with the original job, is there was like no onboarding program, and they were like, here's your desk, here's how you manage it, kind of go do it.
They just threw you into it.
Threw me into it on like one of their bigger centers to run, and I was like fresh out of school, and I was like having panic attacks in the bathroom, hitting my vape, and I'm like, I can't do this, and I'm out of here.
I'm going home.
So and that's what I did. I went home after like 3 months. I quit that job and just kind of like, I don't know, spiraled. Is that the right word?
Yeah, it is.
Spiraled for a bit. Yeah. And here's where I landed, or climbed my way back up, I guess.
The spiraling's interesting though, because some people don't come out of that.
A lot of people don't. Yeah. And it's like there's a lot of bitterness right now. I mean, I'll only speak for this country specifically, but I would imagine around the world, like especially post-COVID, people just didn't come out of those spirals for different reasons.
Right.
But I mean, nobody has like a life plan for you. You have to figure it out, obviously. Right. And I think a lot of kids in college in America, like everybody knows that, but they don't necessarily take the steps to like prevent that spiral as soon as they leave school, which is what I did. So I don't know. I think that there just needs to be maybe more emphasis on really thinking like, again, chasing your dreams and what you want to do, and finding ways through, if not through formal education, through another means, but there should be people, advisors in your life, like adults when you're a kid in school, that kind of help you to actually marry what you want to do with what should make you money, or
what you're most aptitude for.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and we went to the same high school. Yeah. And there wasn't a ton of resources there. You know what I mean?
Well, that's what you get private school though.
Well, But like there are other private schools in the area that are like really nice, and almost everybody I know that comes out of there is doing really well.
Right.
And like, not to knock where we went, but like it's kind of bare bones and like a little bit like as a school. So
I think that's generally across the board in most high schools though.
Probably,
like,
yeah.
because even generally like kids coming out of high school going into college, and then kids coming out of college going into the workforce, like just not fucking ready, man.
No. And like, you know, like when I'm 18 years old, it's a lot of responsibility to make that life decision that's going to affect you so profoundly.
Go God, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's so different in Europe, though, how they do the internship program, or how they kind of introduce you to things while you're in high school a little bit. But I think the fact that we don't treat the kids here with, like, respect, we treat kids as kids until they're 18.
Yeah, pretty much.
Know? And I think that has done like an absolute disservice, not to like try and get off a tangent at all, but in order to marry the idea, like you said, of doing what you love, but also providing for yourself, what's your best aptitude, doing all these things should be, you know, we should be pushing the correct direction somehow, but we're not, you know. And I think outside of doing that, I think having the things around you that you enjoy, like now you have the fighting, right? Now you're learning a language. I got my reading back on. Even though I play video games, I still generally enjoy all facets of my life. Like I don't hate my fucking job either,
right? You
know, but if you're comparing the people we were right out of college to the people we are now, it's totally different.
Yeah, vastly different. Like I honestly, I think part of it too is just like if you don't have like a readiness and like a drive to really work, even if you somewhat like what you do, I think you're never going to like reach your full potential that way either. Because like right out of school, dude, I didn't want to do anything.
Nobody
does.
Like
lay in bed all day and do nothing. And like you know, you essentially, and everybody comes from different backgrounds. You know, there are kids that have to get very mature very quickly, you know, like kids that from 14, 15 like have to work full time to help support their family.
Right.
I wasn't in that position, you know, for better or worse. So when you're 18 and you make those decisions, and then when you graduate college, it kind of feels like that rug's pulled out from under you a little bit.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, the real world is really fucking different than what my mom told me, you know. So that type of thing. So you just have to figure it out on your own, and it's a shame. I agree, like we should definitely be doing what Europe does in regards to like the apprenticeships and making sure that people actually can try things that they're
like get a little taste of it, you know,
something, anything. Fuck. You know. And that's why at least I'm glad that through high school and college I at least worked, you know, and had like exposure to what it was more or less, but a different sense. I always looked at it as like a pocket money, fun money thing to, you know, I never took like the job itself very seriously until I started having bills to pay.
Right.
And at that point, it's like, well, I don't want this job. I want a different job because I have bills, you know?
Right.
So
I feel that.
Yeah.
So in terms of the acquiring new skills, you said like with the new job, you didn't have to get any new skills for this new job. With your old job, and I remember before you even started working at GQ, people skills were, I mean, it's not to say you weren't extroverted, but dealing with confrontation was not there. But then like working through GQ, you're like able to professionally talk to like brides and prom moms and shit like that.
Yeah.
Did what you learn at GQ help with this job that you have right now?
I think 100%. It helps, not necessarily with the day-to-day tasks, but in business, I think like if you can just be somewhat competent, you'll move up fairly quickly in big companies because there's so many people that are not one. But like that social aspect, I think is what got me hired in the first place, right? Like more so than like obviously like the day-to-day, it helped me in the interview process where I can be personable and I can like, you know, connect with people on a personal level.
Right.
And, you know, like get to know people. And I feel that for me now, when I started where I am, I was the first person hired for my team. They hired me before they hired my boss.
Oh shit.
So I was like sitting there for like a week before my boss even was my boss. And so like I've been there since the genesis. And I think that our team is like so nice and cohesive and like we all have so much fun together, and like we'll go out on team lunches all the time and like spend 2 hours, whatever, just having fun. And that, like, creating that environment, I think it's where, like, me working at GQ on the retail side, especially watching your dad interact with people, because there's nobody more personable than that guy.
No, there isn't.
And I was super introverted. Like, to this day, like in my personal life, I don't make huge moves to, like, you know, I don't go out a lot. I don't try to make new friends where I am, but I have that skill for when I really need it.
Right.
And that's
you used
why
it,
I'm
though.
using it. And now that's why I think why my trajectory is so good right now.
Yeah, because you were able to do that. And I liked how before you said, like, before you were kind of like saying you got to be hungry for like change, or like to just better yourself or something along those lines. And I think even if you're working a job you don't like, there are things to learn about it that can help you out later, you know?
Yeah. And like a lot of people don't like jobs, especially new maybe like overwhelming jobs, because they don't feel competent in that role.
Right.
So like if you could just be a dog and learn everything you possibly can about that role, and like really kind of just prove to your boss or to the company in general,
prove to yourself too,
and yourself that like you can do this, you know, like buck up basically, which, you know, isn't always the best advice. Certain situations you should get out of, right? But like in that situation, I just felt like coming into this new job, I was nervous because it's the same industry as the job I hated.
Right.
But I needed the money. And that's like the big difference. And I have that dog in me now. That's just like, pull up the x-ray picture.
You got that dog in him.
Editor, just dog in me. But yeah, it's like you kind of just have to tough it out. And now I feel like very competent. Like people from different departments come to me for questions. Like
nice.
I feel very great and comfortable in my role. And because of that, I think you realize that the big scary jobs sometimes aren't that big and scary. You know, it's just a matter of like, you have to adjust to it and learn.
Yeah, and I think that's like important with life in general too. Now, kind of tangenting a little bit, not really, but we're changing gears. So with the fighting thing, and also just physical wellness in general, being able to adapt to situations. So if you get hurt, do you still work out? Do you still do cardio?
Dependent. I don't like with my rib thing that I was talking about, that was bad. Like I could not breathe. I could not, like, you know, you couldn't take a deep breath because when your lungs expand, it presses on the muscle. Like I couldn't sleep, I couldn't breathe. I took like a solid month off of all fitness because at a certain point, like you have to understand like recovery is everything at that point. You know, it's like if I don't take the recovery now, I'll get a full tear of the intercostal muscle and I'll be out for like or I'll have to have surgery on it. Right. So I take it on a case-by-case basis. Like if I tweak something in the gym, I'll just go work another body part. Or I'll crush my legs, and that's why I'm getting thick legs. So yeah, and it's like, because I love working legs more than upper body now.
Wow.
Love it. It's like there's something about it, because I stopped squatting and I started hack squatting on the machines.
Hack squats are nice.
Feels
hack
so
squats.
good.
Yeah,
I started doing a lot of knees over toes stuff because like that's the other thing. You do get injured, especially like I have an autoimmune thing, so I am a little bit prone to injuries because I always have a little bit of inflammation and weakness in certain areas.
Right.
So yeah, for me, like I just, when I'm hurt, I recover if I need it. And I don't push it too hard, but there's a fine line. Like you have to be able to push through injuries a lot of the time, you know, just to grow overall.
Right.
But if it's bad, there's no reason to screw yourself.
So there's certain times when you know that dog in you can actually
start barking
and actually do more damage than it should.
Yeah.
So being able to like adapt is something that I need to work on this year, because normally when I get hurt, I usually fuck up my knee or my ankle playing basketball. I get all, you know, hurt about it, and then I'm like, well, I'm not going to do anything, you know? So this time, if I do get hurt, you know, knock on whatever wood or plastic, yep, there we go. If I do end up getting hurt, I need to change like a workout plan to be able to still accommodate myself so I don't fall into some rut for 3 months of not working out.
Yeah. And that's the thing too, because I think you're like me where you kind of like tie in your self-concept so much to like you being fit equals you being happy, right? Like expending energy. Because if I'm alone with my thoughts all day, every day, and I don't have a physical outlet,
Right.
and whether that's like straight up working out or fighting or going on a hike or a walk or clearing your head, if I can't do any of that, I'm going to go to a dark place,
right?
To be honest, you know, it's like,
I'm right there with you.
And I have like meditative things that I work on and, you know, reading that I work on and skills outside. And that's why I think it's important to have those skills, like trying to learn a language and trying to do other things outside of the physical, because realistically, like one or the other is not always going to be there. Like you might be going through stuff where you can't physically work out. And so just work out your brain instead, you know, just try something.
That's a good something. Point. Yeah.
Well, it's like, it's just like life in general is just like a balancing act, you know, it's like, and the other thing for me too, is like, I also just know in general, in both of those fields, I feel like comfortably ahead of most people, and not to be like like, I don't know, not like trying to gloat or anything, but just saying like,
you put in the work for it though.
Like for like a mental thing for me, when I feel like, okay, I can't work out, I don't want to spiral, I just think, hey, you're already so ahead of where you could be. Like if you look at the average person physically, you could take months off and still be ahead and come back and be fine.
Right.
So it's like, breathe through it, work on something that you can work on. And when the time comes and you want to bring in that physical back or whatever it is that you lost, do it.
I think that's being able to pat yourself on the back for all your hard work is important too.
Yeah.
Because you could just be super, you know, hard on yourself and get yourself down in a sense like that, which will actually make you spiral quicker, faster, and more than before, you know. My buddy Brandon, who was just on, talked about he got a hernia.
Yeah, those suck.
Yeah, and he just had surgery a couple weeks ago. But he's been walking on the treadmill, you know, just
something.
Yeah, just something.
Yeah.
He also learns Mandarin and other things too, other languages. So he's always doing some shit like that.
I'll tell you what, dude, when it comes to those tonal languages, huge respect to people that can learn those coming from like a Germanic language, like
English.
Yeah. Where it's like not tonal at all. It's like you can understand me regardless of like any inflection I have.
Right.
But like Chinese, if you don't have the right inflection, you said a whole different word or nothing at all. It's like
that's how I feel when he's yelling at me. Yeah. He yells at me in Mandarin.
In Mandarin? Yeah, I have a buddy that yells at me in Russian. So there we go.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, it's just learning like new skills like that is so fun to me. Because like, what's the point? If you're just going to sit there and be stagnant your whole life and just be the same? That's not fun.
It's not fun. But it's not even just not fun. I liked how you said we're similar because we tie our self-identity to like this working out thing.
Yeah.
You know, and that stagnation, that not doing anything, not learning anything, dude, it fucking kills me inside, man.
Feels like you're rotting.
It feels like I'm rotting, and I feel like a piece of shit for coming around people while I'm rotting. Because I'm like, I know what I'm doing. You know, I know I'm down in the dumps, and I'm purposely doing it, right? Not right now, but previously, you know. And which is kind of like, I say at the beginning of every podcast that, you know, chase your dreams, call you out on your bullshit, myself included. But rarely do people call me out on my bullshit, like if I'm spiraling, you know, because I work myself so hard that sometimes I'm hard on myself, right? So when people see me taking a break, you know, they think it's good. They're like, oh, he's finally taking a break, you know. But people don't understand that when I'm taking a break, it's months on end. And it's too much.
You are a very all or nothing person.
Absolutely.
I feel like I'm the same way, more or less, and I'm trying not to be. And that's tough. Why, like, again, when I was injured, I was like, okay, I'll pick up chess again. Right. So I bought a book on openings. I've been studying like opening theory and stuff like that, and almost played your brother to a draw randomly on the floor. So
that's a win then.
Oh, I mean, like, I think I could beat him.
Yeah.
I'm saying I'm calling him out publicly. But give me a month or two, Joe, I'll come for you. But it's just like not having like that. I try not to have like one aspect of my life carry that much weight for me anymore. Yeah, exactly. Right. Because like before, if I couldn't work out, my mind goes, all right, well, might as well smoke and eat burritos all day. You know, where it's like, hey, how about you just, I don't know, eat a salad and go for a walk if you can't work out.
Yeah.
It's like you don't have to do that.
You don't have to go like all scorched earth, you know?
Correct. Yeah. It's like, well, but it might as well tank my body, I guess.
Right.
You know,
Right.
so and then it just makes it that more difficult when you want to come back.
It is for
you know?
sure.
So it's like, I don't know. There's something with the mental in regards to that of just like not letting yourself slip fully. Like, even if you're in a terrible situation with, you say, your fitness, doesn't mean that you have to let everything else go, which is like sometimes I fall for that trap all the time. Like I just said, like, oh, well, foot's gone. I'm done.
Gonna smoke and eat burritos,
Yeah,
play
it's
video
like, dude,
games.
Fighting, like I have like a really kick heavy game. So like I'll kick people's elbows. I'll break my toes like every other month, and just like that I'll go through because who needs a toe, you know? Chop it off.
For sure.
But, you know, like, and it sucks, but like I don't break my toe and go, well, I guess I'm just gonna like stop my membership at the gym and just lay in bed all day. It's like I break my toe and I tape it and I go back to the gym and I kick somebody in the head with it.
Right.
It's like, I don't.
That's kind of how I am with my knee, though.
Yeah.
Because, like, there's always, like, unfortunately, even, like, with the knees over toe guy, doing leg day stretches and all that shit, there is still a nagging pain. Just from the calcification of the patellar tendon. What are you going to do? You know, I'm not going to not go play.
Yeah, how do you uncalcify a tendon?
Surgery.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not doing that right now, no. So I think being able to push through something like that is really important. But to have these other things other than having my entire self-identity be basketball, you know, or another thing that was a problem was my writing. It was either my writing or basketball was my identity. And if I went through a phase in life where I couldn't hoop and I wasn't feeling creative enough to write, then it was like scorched earth. Because I'd like to view the writing thing as the mental, you know, and the basketball is the physical, right? But if those two failed, those were like my fail safe. You know, even in my sober era, John, which is like, I'd like to think pretty resilient, you know, but when those two things fall, it's like, well, everything's fucked now, you know?
Yeah.
So this time around, you know, I'm 3 months without nicotine at this point again, which is great. I did pick up that really weird habit of restoring old video games, like using a solder gun to replace the batteries in old Pokemon games.
Crackhead stuff.
Crackhead stuff.
100%. Yeah, just taking apart your VHS for fun. Yeah.
It's some crackhead shit.
Yeah.
And then the reading, and then, you know, the language, and playing more chess again too. So yeah, it's just gotta have more things at your disposal, new skills, you know, and not even just like skills in general, but just like hobbies. You know?
Yeah. I mean, like if you don't have hobbies and you don't have like a thing physically occupying your time, it's like you're just breathing. Like you're just taking up space, man. Like,
and even worse, like mouth breathing.
Man, people don't know how. This is a PSA. If you breathe through your mouth, you physically look different. You physically look worse.
Yeah, for sure.
It's crazy,
isn't it?
And I see people doing it. I'm like, shut your mouth. Breathe through your nose.
I think Josh like claimed, oh yeah, I breathe through my mouth all the time, like doesn't give a fuck about it.
Hey man, it
literally changes you.
It does change you, like shifts. It makes you look like softer. Yeah. You're doing it. Yeah, you're doing it.
Like people walking around like it's like I just Professor Farnsworth from Futurama, you know?
Yeah.
Top. Yeah.
It's just loose ass jaw.
I think Joe got me on that breathing thing like a year ago because he read some book about some runner and the breathing through your nose and stuff, and it's really important.
Yep.
I tape my mouth at night, not every night because I just forget, you know, but breathing through your nose is really important. It got a little difficult when I'm working out because I have the retainers in, and for some reason my mouth gets fucking dry with the retainers in. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's because you're trying to digest the retainers. It's like a whole thing, but
really.
Well, like your saliva breaks stuff down. That's like when you put them in, you pull out, it's all drool. It's because you're trying to break down something that's not
supposed to be in your mouth.
Correct. Yeah. So it's like you get stank breath and everything. But like with the nose breathing, same thing. Like when I'm at the end of like a sparring round and I'm just getting like, I'm done. Like my face turns like purple. I'm like, you still try, like I try actively to breathe through my nose and like control my tempo.
Control your breathing.
Yeah. And especially too, when you first start fighting, you're really scared, you know, because you're not used to being in like physical altercations like that.
Right.
Or at least I wasn't, right? And you're not used to, it's like twofold, right? You're not used to being hit and you're not used to being hurt and tired, which is like a whole different thing. Like when you have a concussion, like you're seeing stars and you can't breathe because your heart's at like 180.
Right.
And then also on the other side of that coin, it's like, I wasn't used to hurting people. And like, not like I actively try to hurt people I train with.
Yeah,
but like,
yeah, for sure.
You're not used to like flipping the switch of violence in your brain to like being like, I'm going to hurt you. You know, like I'm going to go forward. I'm
like
going to hurt you.
fight mode.
Right.
Yeah.
Like those, like, it's so weird. Especially I spar women too.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, that's a whole new thing for me. It's like being able to just like crack a woman in the face is a weird feeling, you know?
But I mean,
but if you don't, they're going to hit you hard.
Right. Yeah.
Some of the women at my gym are dogs. Like they take like semi-professional fights. I've seen them like choke girls out. I've seen one girl break a girl's arm in an arm bar in a fight. I was like, oh my God. So it's like, I don't feel bad about it anymore. But
no,
like,
you can't.
It was a huge mental hurdle to try to like flip that switch and just be like, this is okay.
We in the 21st century, we kind of like, you know, raise humans to not want to be violent, to not be angry, to not hate, you know, which actually suppresses it even more, which is dangerous also.
That's why you get like a lot of the crazy stuff in the country now, but that's a whole different thing.
Right.
So,
that's a whole separate topic.
yeah.
But
next week
on the Feel Free podcast. Yeah. So you started fighting because you wanted to be an anime character. Do you plan on dyeing your hair and your beard a different color, like purple or something?
I mean, you'd have to have hair to dye it.
Okay.
That's step number one. I like to consider myself more of, what's the big dude from Full Metal Alchemist with the mustache?
Major
He's
Armstrong.
got like just that one thing of hair.
Yeah, Major
I'm trying
Armstrong.
to have that aesthetic. Okay. Yeah. You know what's funny? I kind of, I've never really thought about dyeing anything except actually from my gym. Like some people, when we do like when a fighter's like in a camp, like he might dye his hair like peroxide his shit.
Yeah.
Like other people will do like their beards and stuff.
Okay.
I thought about it, but I'm like, I don't want to be that ugly, you know?
It's not good for your hair.
It's bad.
It's bad for your hair. I've actually bleached my hair twice.
Yeah.
Did highlights.
I remember Johnny Frosted Tips.
Johnny Frosted Tips, yeah.
That was a good John.
Johnny Frosted Tips.
That was like one of my go-to. That's like on my like Mount Rushmore of Johns.
You know, I had fun with that. Yes.
It was nice. Very Backstreet Boys.
It was.
Very beautiful.
Very free, I'd like to say. One of the most feel-free moments. But yeah, not good for the hair. I've always wanted like different hair, like anime style hair, but I just don't want to fuck my hair up. Like,
well, I mean, like, and yeah, it's like it's never gonna look like it does in the shows, you know, because like it's like perfect and it doesn't move and it doesn't get greasy and it's
and it like shines though.
You know, if it's like just right.
If I wanted like hair like Ike from Fire Emblem, it's literally like royal blue, but it's blue, you know, and it shines. Like if I were to like dye my hair blue, it would be like dark blue. And it would be stringy.
Well,
is the thing.
I mean like. Well, I can't speak on like the texture of your hair, obviously, but if you want like a light blue, first you have to bleach it,
right?
And then you dye it light.
Yeah.
So like you could do it, but then you're gonna tank your roots probably.
Yeah, and I don't want to do that.
I wouldn't. You have nice hair.
I don't want to do that, Morty.
No, you can't. You shouldn't.
No, fuck that.
It's the worst.
Yeah, Gianna like does that to her hair like every month or two.
Does she?
Yeah, she fucks it up. She keeps asking Kath, when can I dye my hair? And my sister and Lisa are like, just hold on, just wait,
right?
Let your hair heal, you know,
for real. Because I mean, yeah, it's like it's cool if you're into like the colored hair thing and you want to have that,
right?
Like obviously go for it. That's your look. That's you. Follow your dreams, but like don't like ruin your hair because of that
for
like,
fashion.
Yeah, go get a wig off Amazon. You know, see how you feel about it first.
Right,
test it out. Take it for a test drive.
That's actually one of the reasons why I started doing the push-ups so much. Was anime. Well,
One Punch Man, or like a specific push-up anime. There's many.
Well, I think it's more of just like a general idea of fitness, like how you wanted to learn fighting as a joke. Like, I'm going to be an anime character, but as we've talked on Just Anime, the other podcast that I have with Kath, and I have a couple episodes with my brother and other people here where we talk about anime. Yeah, very important part of my self-identity is anime because of the characters, the things they overcome, what they do and stuff. And I can watch My Hero for a month and look at them and be like, well, how can I be a hero without superpowers?
Yeah.
I'm like, I just got to fucking get in shape.
Yeah, it's like, I don't want to help people. I just want to be jacked. Forget being a hero. You know, it's funny though, at my work, it's like I'm one of the younger dudes on my team.
Yeah.
And like my boss is really into anime. She loves it. And through like osmosis, through me and her, now like our team of 10 people who had never seen anime before, like the supervisor on my team, I got him so far in like a 6-month period. He's watched all of My Hero. He's current on JJK. He's watched all of Demon Slayer. Like he's watched all of Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Let's go.
Hunter. He's beasting through it.
Yeah.
He's like, I never knew anime could be like dark and like have good plots. Like he watched Death Note. I'm like, and now he's a fiend. It's like I knew it.
You know, everybody's like that deep down though.
Yeah, dude, people like put on airs and try to be like really cool and be like, no, that's for kids. Like that's cartoon shit. Like I remember at the library, you know, there's that huge manga section.
Mm-hmm.
I remember browsing that and people kind of like give you like a look. Like,
Right.
Who's this guy looking at comic books? I'm like, because they're fun and I like them. It's like, I don't really like, what other reason do you want? It's like,
Right.
they're just dope.
Maybe they want you to write a research paper on why it's dope.
I don't think so, dude. I think they just want to hate.
I think so.
Because it's like, and that's the other thing too. It's like, dude, since I got rid of like all my social media, it's like I don't give a crap what people think. Dude.
It must be nice, dude.
It's pretty nice. I don't care. It's like people say like it's like a red flag or whatever.
Who says that?
Like bitches you go on dates with, but it's like it's like oh, what's your Instagram? Because like you know you'll meet on like an app
that's
or
a red
something.
flag if he doesn't have social media.
Yeah,
Is that what they say?
I've heard it once, only
my
once. To be
God.
fair, like the vast majority of people don't care.
Right.
But like I've heard it like. I'm like, how is that a negative that I don't spend 3 hours of my day just doom scrolling on something or like looking at it,
other people's lives,
or just being
shit.
like, oh, I'll never look like that. I'll never have that much money. It's like it's terrible for you, bro. It's like sorry, I'd rather watch cartoons. Fuck, I guess I'll go kill myself.
Their reasoning for that is like, oh, I just need to know what's happening in like all my friends' lives
and it's
family's
so BS
lives.
because like every time you look over their shoulder, they don't know those people, bro. They're just like it's influencers,
Right,
it's
yeah, for
nonsense.
sure.
Especially if you have TikTok, it's like you're not like you might see one of your friends' TikToks.
You
but
might
like,
support your friends there, but
Yeah,
you're
but-
not on there for your friends.
dude, you're on there to watch some heinous stuff. Like I mean, like it's just like that app just consumes your life.
I had to get rid of
especially-
it
I
because
got rid of it
it's
bad.
heinous. Yeah,
My For You page was getting too specific. I was like, all right, man, I'm done. Like TikTok was the one that killed social media for me. It's like I was on there and I'm like, all right, it's 2 a.m. and my eyes are bloodshot and I'm holding my phone like this. I'm keep dropping it on my face. And it's like, this isn't healthy.
no.
I'm on here too much.
See, I like they got the reels on
And
Instagram.
It's like the same thing. Yeah.
It is the same thing.
Gives
but
you that ooh.
that ooh,
Yeah, scroll.
yeah. Dude, I think who was I just fucking talking to about this? I was talking to Dylan about it. He doesn't have social media either.
Yeah.
If I didn't have to, the
Do
podcast
network
shit,
and sure.
bruh,
Yeah.
I would not have any of this shit.
Yeah. Well, they make it really hard to like if you want to have any kind of like
Business.
or like any kind of project that you're working on, if you're not like promoting on a network like that, like nobody's gonna find you. Everybody's connected.
Right.
You know, like I find things just to like Spotify discover and like new podcasts. Like, oh, that sounds
Right.
interesting. We'll give it a shot. But for the most part, I feel like very unplugged, and I really like it.
I bet it's phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, like I'll watch YouTube videos, and that's
Right.
like a whole other problem because those wormholes go hard
Oh,
too.
yeah.
It's like I'm 3 a.m. I'm watching a monkey escape like from a zoo, and like beat people in the streets. Like you'll find yourself just doing all kinds of weird stuff on YouTube at like late at night.
And Lisa's dad literally like watches videos like accidents. Like car
Yeah,
accidents, truck accidents, like
Yeah,
literally
like the dash cam footage. I have
like
a
just
guy that I work with that just
explosion.
watches people die. I'm like, bro, he's like, oh, I love watching the motorcycle ones where they're like flying at 100 and just fly off. I'm like, you mean watching death?
What the
It's
fuck?
like, dude, it's like I don't, I don't even know
And
what
that's
to
not
say.
like that's a red flag. You not
That's a
having
red
social
flag.
media
Yeah.
is not a red flag.
No, right?
That
it's
is
like,
though,
It's like, yeah, it's like what? It's like that's a bit much.
isn't it?
He's like, oh, like those Chinese factory videos where people get caught in the machines. I'm like, no, I don't know those. Actually,
What is happening on the internet?
it's a dark place, I think.
Yeah, dude. My YouTube feed is all basketball highlights
Yeah.
and lo-fi.
Yeah.
That's it.
I mean, that's the one thing about YouTube is you can really get it how you want it. You know, it's like obviously that also has like a negative way where you can go and watch stuff you really shouldn't be watching all day, every day, just like consuming you. But I feel like YouTube, like at least it's a long format, right? I think the long format stuff is somewhat important,
right,
for like attention span and just overall mental health, to not be like bombarded by like new things,
just pictures and 10-second video.
It's like when you like in like old cartoons when like somebody's having like a flashback or like they're freaking out. It's just like picture, like Vietnam cut explosion. It's like that kind of like PTSD. It's like that, and you just keep going and going and going.
Yeah, I'd like to get to the point where I just like hire somebody to do it all for me. You know, that'd be great.
That'd be sick.
Yeah, but right now, unfortunately, that's the only app only social media app I really have on my phone that I use. I don't use Facebook because I have it synced. So if I post something to Instagram for the podcast, it goes to Facebook.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't like do anything on Facebook. And Snapchat's just like, that's strictly like friends. Pretty much.
Well, right. And like I shouldn't say I have no social media. I have Snapchat, but I use it like as a messenger.
Right.
Like I message people on Snapchat more than I text them. Like, you know who I'm texting is like my mom.
Right.
Snapchat is like my friends because I know they'll pick it up.
I mean, you text
quicker.
me, so I understand
correct.
I'm like
yeah, you're old. Yeah, it's like at 30 and up, it's like, I gotta fucking text this guy now. Yeah, 100%. I don't know, but like, even so, like, I'll still snap you occasionally. It's just, but I think like I never know with you whether you have it or it's deleted.
Right.
Because you'll go through phases of like, oh, you've been sending me stuff. Like, I haven't had that for 3 months. Sorry. So it's like, I'll just always text you because I know you're more direct with that. But vast majority of like, I'll have like group chats with people, and it's like, it's just like with the text, it gets too annoying.
The group text though can all die.
The group texts suck, but like at least the group Snapchat thing, it's like I'll just mute it and I'll go in there when I want it, you know? So it's like, yeah, you can do that with your text too, but something's different. It feels like more whimsical on Snapchat, you know?
Yeah.
It's like more like informal and just like, hey, you know.
I mean, there's an explore page, which is really dumb. That's like the most...
That is the most heinous... like.
That's like the most advertisement-esque
shit
you can get.
Just brain dead stuff on there, man.
Silly,
it's just
dude.
Brain dead clickbait.
Oh, God.
Man, because I think like one of the only things that Joey has to social media is Snapchat.
I was just going to say this.
I'll see him on there all the fucking time, and I'm like...
That's his social media, though.
Right. He just like... He likes it.
Yeah.
I don't know what that says about him. But yeah, I don't know. It's just not for me. I can't do it. It's bad for me.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the day where I can just kind of like unplug, you know, still do the podcast and the book thing. But like the less I'm on social media, and I think this is the same thing with anybody, the less you're on social media, the happier you're going to be. I
feel much happier, dude. I feel much happier because like my biggest problem was comparing myself to other people.
I was gonna say you went through a little body dysmorphia phase for a little bit, didn't you?
And I think we talked about that on the first one that I did years ago, and like, I had that just because I grew up like a heavier kid, and like I never, you get like teased and stuff, and you never really have that like sense of self or like that positive sense of self, and you're always like dogging yourself. So even now, like I'm in shape and I feel great, and I don't have the dysmorphia so much, like. It doesn't mean that like there's not like shades of it or remnants of it that like still affect you, because when you're a child and you get like impacted like that, it's like it's gonna have a profound effect on you as an adult too. But
I actually had somebody I spoke on the Revolutionized Mind podcast, and I also had Angelica on this podcast, and she talked about body dysmorphia with social media as well. So it is an actual thing. It's fucked up.
It is messed up. Yeah, it's like. And like I think it especially probably impacts women a bit more heavily.
Oh God, yeah.
So it's like when you're a guy, so it's like it's not like maybe, or you feel sometimes like it gets like swept under the rug, like whatever.
Well, most men's mental health gets swept under the rug.
Yeah.
Out here,
be like that sometimes.
2023.
Like I have that dog in you, bro. No, but it's like. It's definitely like crappy to just like constantly see that stuff, like
and compare yourself.
Yeah, because like even if you're not doing it consciously, you're doing it on a subconscious level,
right?
And you're like, well, like I just was like, dang, I don't look like that guy, or I don't make as much money as that dude, or like whatever it is. And then like you realize that person's probably like empty too. You know what I mean? It's like They're just posting. Like you see their life on like 2-second segments, and like I can like take a photo in a mirror and edit it to make it look like I'm like nasty shredded, but I'm not. You know what I mean? It's like, and so like that's all they.
And you could go put on your nicest clothing and go stand next to
the Tesla that I test drove yesterday.
Exactly. And then just put an emoji in the caption. People are like, oh my God, you know, but
yeah, it's real fake.
But then the other 99% of their life is just as empty as
just staring at their phone, just phone. Yeah, it's all the same.
Hate it.
It's the worst.
Hate it.
The worst.
This morning, I did not do my morning ritual of stare at my phone for 30, 40 minutes.
Yeah.
So I read all morning, probably like an hour and a half. Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah. I switched off between, I'm reading The Will to Power by Nietzsche, which is actually a little more studying.
Okay.
You know, I have to like use a highlighter.
Break it down.
I have to break it down. I have to actually be immersed. I have to like almost take notes.
Yeah.
You know, and then I'm reading Lord of the Rings.
Good books.
Yeah, so
really, really good books.
I'm switching off between doing that and also on Audible. I've been listening to a biography on Abraham Lincoln. Yeah, I'm just nerding the fuck out over here.
16th?
16th president.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah. After that, I'm going to do an Albert Einstein biography.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Yeah, man, it's like I keep teetering between like fiction and nonfiction because like I love nonfiction, I love learning, but man, you get to a certain point and you're just like, I want to have fun with my
dry,
life.
though.
It's dry.
It's super dry.
Yeah, like I've been reading a book on like gut health and like the microbiome and everything, which is like relevant to me.
That's kind of interesting
because my stomach's terrible, but like it's interesting, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, it's quite dry and scientific when they're like, you know, documenting the various different bacteria that live in there. They're giving you like each scientific name. You're like, God, I just want to read this book and like.
That's kind of tough.
Know? But yeah.
I just finished so on Audible, they have these things called the Great Courses, right? That company or segment, what you call it. I just finished one on existentialism, which is like everybody in that the picture behind me. Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
So it was like an 18-hour audio book that some guy gave on existentialism, basically just ran through every single one of the big guns, because it's honestly like my favorite type of philosophy, I'd like to say, which is where I draw a lot of my writing from. Yeah. But yeah, I just finished that and I'm like, you know what? I don't know. Ever since I stopped smoking, I've been like doing a lot better. I'm actually, I'm actually at the point now where I haven't even beaten the Hogwarts game on Switch.
Okay.
And
it's a good game.
It is a good game, but I'm just running out of video game juice.
Dude, let me tell you, the older I get, the more frequently I buy $60 games and play them for 2 hours and say, what am I doing with my life, man? Like, I finished Hogwarts just barely, and I love Harry Potter. Like, it's a good game, though. Yeah, it's a great game. Yeah. But like, I was really at the end. I was like, can we get that over with? Yeah, like, I just don't want to be sitting at my desk looking at magic anymore, man. It's like, it's great.
I mean, it was, yeah.
Especially like when you first get like the exploration of like the castle and you get like free reign and stuff.
Yeah,
and you're
it's
like,
dope.
Oh, it's sick.
Well, I just played like 20 hours of Stardew in like 2 weeks, and that's like super chill.
Yeah, I played 10 hours Sea of Stars in 2 days, so
bro,
it's fine.
Gas.
Yeah, good
Love
game.
that game.
I'm
dude.
halfway through, I think.
Dude.
It's pretty good.
Oh my God. It won Game of the Year.
Indie
Game of the Year.
Yeah.
Like there's moments like when I'm smoking or when I'm spiraling or...
Are you talking about nicotine, I'm assuming? Or anything?
Nicotine honestly like unlocks
a
lot of my bad habits.
Right.
Or I should say like tobacco.
Yeah, tobacco itself. Not like the Zyn or like the...
No, not the Zyn. But like with the video games too, I tend to not do like first person shooters and shit. I don't do Grand Theft Auto. I'm not hating on it. It's just like it's not my jam. You know, I need to be thinking a little bit more. So now I'm at the point now where I'm all video gamed out, you know, and I told Lisa, I'm like, I have to beat the Hogwarts game. I never leave a game undone.
We're different people.
I can't. I just can't. It's just like a book, dude.
We're also different people there too. I leave books half read all the time.
Really? I've only done it once with a Witcher book.
All the time, but like if I just really like lose interest, or if I like take somebody else's recommendation and it's just like really not my style, like I'll give it a shot, I'll get halfway through it and I'll be like, man,
I feel that.
Like this isn't me. But like, of course you still like, because I have my headboard of my bed is like hollowed, it's like a bookcase.
Yeah.
And so they kind of just stare at me when I sleep. And so sometimes I think about like, you're starting a book where you have no idea where you left off is like,
that's tough,
miserable.
Yeah.
So I mostly just don't.
See, I can't bring myself to purchase another thing without How about that? Like there's a Fire Emblem game that came out in January, so it's almost going to be a year. And now with where I'm at, I'm like, I can't purchase that game until I beat the Hogwarts game.
That's fair.
Right?
I mean, that's just like a fiscally responsible thing to do.
Right. Well, I'm getting my bang from a buck, you know?
Yeah.
But I also know that if I buy the Fire Emblem game, it might be 6 to 9 months before I beat the Hogwarts game.
Yeah. And I think like for me, like in the last like few weeks since I've got the promotion and like it came with like more pay, obviously, that now I'm like able to save a lot every month.
Nice.
That I'm like literally like just last week when I got back from Florida, I had like a whole Excel open and I like made a budget.
Nice.
By the way, for like the first time, because like I've always had more than my bills, so I've been fortunate in that way, you know, but
to actually sit down with the budget,
to sit down and like see, especially like when my bank's paying me like, did you spend $1,000 eating out last month? And I'm like, did I? I'm like, oh no. Did I? It's just like only because, you know, like you'll take people out for dinner and they'll sell you later, but like it still shows up as like, oh my God.
Right.
But it's just like that realization of, especially for me, I want to like get my own place soon and I need to stop buying $60 games that I don't play.
Right.
And I need to stop.
That's the nice thing about Sea of Stars though.
It's $29.
$29? Yeah, $30. Yeah.
Yeah. That's like indie games in general are cheaper. Like how much was Stardew?
15.
I have like 300 hours on Stardew.
300?
It's nuts.
Sheesh.
Yeah, or maybe like 2. I don't know, but I have like Stardew is one of my most played games, and it's funny because I've never even gotten that far into it. Like I've never done the Joja route. Can you believe that? That many hours, and I just keep restarting farms because I don't like the corporate thing. It's like, it feels dirty.
I did the Joja route the first 2.
Yeah.
And this farm that I'm on, my third one, which is easily my best farm that I have 85 hours into, I did the community center route.
Yeah.
Because I wanted it to be more challenging.
See, and I never realized that it was more challenging until like right now.
Oh yeah, the Joja Mart, easy. If you
it's
know
easy because you just pay for everything.
If you know,
right?
Eric's like, dude, I know how to make money. I'm just gonna fucking pay for it. And I'm like, yeah, that's the move, right? So
yeah, the
first 2 farms I did, I just learned how to make a lot of money super fast. You can literally unlock everything in like fall at least, you know?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like every time I pick it back up, I never think like I'm gonna really like min-max this. I'm gonna be like super efficient. It's like I just have fun. And then like by the time that falls over, I realized I missed something that I could only really like get in fall. Like obviously there's ways around everything.
Right, with the community center though.
Right. Yeah. And I'm like, man, year 2, here I come, bro. So it's
like, see you next year.
I'm just like looking up hacks. I'm like, freaking how to Stardew, get what I want. It's like, yeah.
It's such a relaxing game though.
The soundtrack.
God.
Whew, when you're by the sea. Oh.
Did I tell you that we're going to see? No, I don't think I told you. So Eric and Christina and Lisa and I are going to see an orchestra perform the Stardew Valley soundtrack.
In the city?
In March, I think.
That's nice, man.
Yeah.
That's nice. And you know what? The Sea of Stars sounds nice too, man.
Ooh.
Any of those indie game designs. Because like I'll unlike you, I'll play like a little bit of like Call of Duties when a new one comes out. I'll get it. I'll play for a few weeks with friends, just because, you know, for me it's like more like a social aspect. Like we'll hop on Discord and shoot the shit,
right?
And you know, Call of Duty is just like a mindless, like just get
spray
on
and pray, boom.
Yeah, just get dunked on by like a 16-year-old. It's like, all right, man, I don't have those reflexes anymore for games, but like something about like every time I come back to a nice indie game, like a well-made one, like Sea of Stars or like Stardew, I feel like at peace. I feel like it scratches my video game itch, and shooters don't, because those for me are competitive and like rage inducing. Like I don't get like mad. I don't.
It's the same thing with League though. That's why I had to get rid of it.
Yeah, and like I don't like smash stuff anymore. But like, you know, I'm a grown man. Like I pay for everything. I'm not smashing my nice setup. And
no,
like,
fuck no.
I don't get mad. Like, but I'll have to like walk away. I'll be like, this isn't like why I'm just getting mad. my blood pressure suck. But I do still smoke. So it's like, it's, how mad can you be when you're stoned playing Call of Duty in your underwear? It's like not very, but it's like, it's still just rage inducing.
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
That's why I had to get rid of League for that reason though too.
Yeah.
Because it is time consuming, it's highly addictive, and it's rage inducing.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that's the thing about like COD, I can jump on for a 15-minute match and be done. It's like League, it's like, that's like an hour commitment every time you boot that launcher at least.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, it's like 3 a.m. and you're like, your eyes are red and you're like, oh,
you're
no.
raging.
Yeah.
You actually go to bed angry sometimes.
And that's like the worst. You know what I've been doing to decompress at night, John?
What?
Well, like one, I read a little bit, but when I do watch shows, I watch Tiny House Hunters, just like your mom.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm
you gotta
like,
tell her that next time you talk to her.
And I'm like, damn, I need a tiny ass home, man. It's like, take me somewhere small, quaint. Yeah, it's just like it's weird because it's like, I don't genuinely like HGTV, like that type of reality show, like. So, but it's nice, man.
Do you see yourself buying like a plot of land and putting a tiny home on it?
If not a tiny home, like a small cottage somewhere.
You could do that.
I could do that like right now.
Yeah.
Because like, so, like, I mean, my sisters both have so much money saved right now because they live at home and they've had like good jobs. They've had like good heads on their shoulders in that regard for a long time.
Right.
And we'll definitely end up doing like a sibling lake house, I'm sure, or like somewhere tucked away, you know, because it's like you need that. It's like where you guys have the lake house is like such a nice location where it's like you just get away from everything and all the stressors.
Nice. Yeah.
And it's like, especially like this area when we were kids, like it was not this built up and congested. You know what I mean? Like
here?
Yeah, just in general, like in the whole suburbia, you know, it's like, especially the closer you get to the city, it was never like that bad and traffic was never like that bad.
Right.
But now it's like, I just need a break sometimes, man. Like
I need to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Cause like I'll find myself driving home and just like getting too aggressive for no reason. I'm like, what are you yelling at an old person for on the highway? It's like, you know, just take a breath, man. So
just really not a lot to be angry about when you think about it.
No.
I find myself when I do get angry about something that doesn't need to be met with that anger, I'm like, dude, just ease up. And I say this to Lisa all the time. I've been saying that for like months now. Just like ease up, you know?
You've been telling her to ease up?
Yeah.
You're gonna get smacked, bro. You're gonna die. Tell it to yourself. But yeah, I feel you. Like I've been much better at like being accountable with that because like, you know, I used to have such a short fuse, and for certain things like I still kind of do, but I just like I'm much better at just being like, why are you mad right now? Just like breathe. Right. Just take a step back.
Just chill.
Like, your life's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
It's
like you've done the work, you know?
Feel good, man.
Yeah. Well,
that's it.
So yeah, I think so.
I mean, just feeling good,
feeling free,
feel free.
I think we had
the name of the show.
Yeah, I think it was a good episode though. Is there anything that you could say to the listeners kind of about the new skills thing, whether it's like not getting discouraged with new skills or like just how would you go about it?
Yeah, I think that anytime you practice anything new or try to acquire a new skill, there's like that initial hump, and you got to realize like that hump and that threshold, 90% of the people when they start on that incline get discouraged and turn around. And all those people that you look up to, all those people that speak fluent languages or are grandmasters in chess or are really fit and really know, like they got past that hump, and then they get past the next one and they get past the next one, and just keep pushing forward. That's really all you can do. It's like, if you're not going forward, you're stagnant. It's like simple as. So find what you like, find the way that works for you to learn or to grow, because everybody's a little bit different in that regard too. Like not everybody is like a straight up study, sit down, physical pencil and paper thing. So find what works for you and push past those humps, and I think you'll do great.
Nice. All right.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, really appreciate everybody coming out listening to the episode. Yeah, don't forget like, subscribe, follow, and all that other crap. Yeah, get some new skills, new hobbies, all that other shit. Do your best to, live a better life, healthy life, I should add. But we're peacing out. So stay up and feel free.
Peace.